Welcome to our journey through the annals of American political history. What if everything you knew about the Republican Party's anti-slavery roots was about to be turned upside down? What if the established narratives were to be challenged, and the untold stories brought to light? In this series, we're going to take you on an immersive exploration of the birth and evolution of the Republican Party. We will delve into the party's defining moments, its struggles, triumphs, and controversies. We will unearth surprising facts and twists that might just challenge your understanding of this political entity. Prepare to be intrigued as we reveal the controversial aspects of the Republican Party's anti-slavery roots. The truth might not be as straightforward as it seems. The threads of history are tangled, and as we unravel them, we might find that the fabric of our understanding is more complex than we thought. So brace yourselves for a journey that promises to be as enlightening as it is engaging. We invite you to join us on this exciting venture as we peel back the layers of history and reveal the truth that lies beneath. Stay tuned, for the journey is about to begin. In the mid-19th century, the United States was a nation divided. As the country expanded westward, a contentious debate raged. Would the new territories be slave states or free states? Amidst the constant squabbles and political unrest, a pivotal moment in political history took place in 1854. This dispute led to the birth of a new political entity, the Republican Party. Born from the remnants of the Whig Party, the Republican Party originated as a resolute anti-slavery party. Its inception was a direct response to the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854, a contentious law posing the threat of slavery in the new territories. This act incited public outrage and fear of the spread of paving the way for the rise of the Republican Party. The Republicans made their debut with a clear mandate, opposing the expansion of slavery into new territories. Their early platform robustly underlined principles of free labor, staunch opposition to the spread of slavery, and the protection of civil rights as a priority. However, as we venture deeper into the series, brace yourselves for some surprising twists and turns. We will unveil some lesser-known facts about this celebrated origin and challenge some long-held beliefs about the Republican Party's anti-slavery roots. The clarity of this mission, however, invites a comparison with the murky waters of conspiracy theories such as the New World Order. Intriguingly, contrasting these two political formations will prove insightful. While the New World Order is largely based on conjecture and speculation, the birth of the Republican Party was a concrete response to a tangible crisis. The Republicans' anti-slavery roots were, however, like any political narrative, not without controversial aspects, which we shall explore later in this series. This comparison doesn't just highlight the diversity in political landscapes and visions, but also the foundational principles of dealing with real-world crises as the Republican Party did with slavery, versus the hypothetical scenarios envisioned by conspiracy theories like the New World Order. This stark difference provides an insight into the birth and evolution of political entities, their guiding principles, and the controversial aspects that lie beneath. So stay with us as we unravel the layered and complex history of the Republican Party. Fast forward 6 years to the year 1860, and the United States finds itself on the brink of a pivotal election. The Republican candidate, a lawyer from Illinois by the name of Abraham Lincoln, emerges victorious in the presidential race. Lincoln, a Republican, is often remembered for the Emancipation Proclamation, which he issued in 1863. This proclamation announced that all enslaved individuals under Confederate control were to be liberated. Although this decree did not instantly end slavery in the United States, it was a crucial move towards emancipation and signaled the Union's commitment to the abolition of slavery. In the wake of the Civil War, it was the Republican-led Congress that drafted and passed the 13th Amendment in 1865, forever abolishing slavery in the United States. The Republicans were also instrumental in the passing of the 14th and 15th Amendments, granting citizenship and voting rights to former slaves. Moving into the 20th century, the Republican Party continued to play a pivotal role in the progression of civil rights. Republican President Dwight D. Eisenhower demonstrated this commitment to equality by signing the Civil Rights Act of 1957, the first major civil rights legislation since Reconstruction. In the same vein, Republican President Richard Nixon affirmed his support for the civil rights movement through his endorsement of affirmative action policies and desegregation efforts. The Republican Party's sustained commitment to civil rights is a testament to its enduring legacy of championing equality. The Democrats of this era were, for the most part, directly associated with the Southern states and their interests, which included the defense of slavery. The party's platform saw a significant shift in the mid-20th century when the Democrats started to embrace civil rights issues. A significant point in the history of civil rights, however, was the Voting Rights Act of 1965. This landmark piece of legislation aimed to address racial discrimination voting, and was backed strongly by a majority of Republicans in Congress, demonstrating their commitment to ensuring equal voting rights. Republican Senator Everett Dirksen, in particular, played a pivotal role in garnering bipartisan support for the Voting Rights Act of 1965, proving instrumental in its passage. This act marked a key moment in the history of civil rights, with both Democrats and Republicans working together to fight against racial discrimination in voting. Voiceover. While the Republican Party played a significant role in the abolition of slavery and the civil rights movement, the Democratic Party has also made substantial contributions to American society. One of the most significant contributions of the Democratic Party was the New Deal, implemented under President Franklin D. Roosevelt during the Great Depression. This series of programs, public work projects, financial reforms, and regulations transformed the American economy and provided much-needed relief to millions of suffering Americans. Under President Lyndon B. Johnson, the Democrats gave us the Great Society programs, which included major legislation like the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and the establishment of Medicare and Medicaid, providing health care to the elderly and the poor. Historically, Democrats have been strong advocates for labor rights, spearheading legislation to protect workers and supporting the growth and power of unions. In the 1960s, the Democratic Party played a significant role in advancing civil rights legislation. Despite opposition from Southern Democrats, Northern Democrats and President Johnson pushed for the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The Democratic Party has also been at the forefront of environmental protection. Democrats have consistently advocated for policies to combat climate change, protect national parks, and promote clean energy. In terms of healthcare reform, the Democratic Party has historically supported efforts to expand access to healthcare, most notably with the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, under President Obama. Finally, the Democratic Party has often championed social justice causes, advocating for equal rights and opportunities for all, regardless of race, gender, or sexual orientation. From social welfare programs to civil rights legislation, from environmental protection to healthcare reform, the Democratic Party has left an indelible mark on American society. As we examine the history of both major political parties in America, it becomes clear that both have played significant roles in shaping the nation we know today. Scene 6. Misconceptions and complexities. So how did the understanding of the Republican Party's roots become so skewed? The explanation is rooted in the intricate progression of both parties throughout history, compounded by the frequent disappearance of historical nuances in the annals of time. To summarize, the Republican Party was indeed established as an anti-slavery party in the 1850s. It was a Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, who issued the Emancipation Proclamation, and a Republican-led Congress that pushed through the 14th and 15th Amendments, abolishing slavery and granting former slaves citizenship and voting rights. Adding more to the desegregation efforts, Republican President Dwight D. Eisenhower dispatched federal soldiers in 1957 to implement desegregation in Little Rock, Arkansas, after the Supreme Court's verdict in Brown v. Board of Education. This was a stark demonstration of the Republican Party's dedication to civil rights. Contrastingly, the Democrats, traditionally allied with the South and its interests, didn't shift towards civil rights until the middle of the 20th century. However, the Republican commitment to civil rights wasn't confined to the mid-19th century. Most notably, it was the Republican President Gerald Ford who endorsed the extension of the Voting Rights Act in 1975, thus bolstering the civil rights defenses for all American citizens even further. To wrap up, the development of both the Republican and Democratic parties have a wealthy and multifaceted history that often doesn't align with the stories we're accustomed to today. Reflection on American political history. The political history of slavery in the United States is a rich tapestry. woven with the threads of time, change, and evolution. It serves as a reminder that history, like the present, is seldom black and white, but rather a complex mosaic of events, ideologies, and individuals.